Question 1. During the needs assessment phase, a business analyst is evaluating different potential solutions to an identified business problem. Which of the following activities is most appropriate at this stage? A. Developing detailed functional requirements for a single chosen solution. B. Creating a high-level business case justifying the investment in a solution. C. Designing user interface mock-ups for the preferred solution. D. Performing user acceptance testing, UAT, on a prototype. Answer: B. Creating a high-level business case justifying the investment in a solution. During the needs assessment phase, the primary goal is to understand the problem or opportunity and determine if a change is warranted, making the creation of a high-level business case a highly appropriate activity. A business case justifies the investment required for a proposed solution by outlining the problem, potential benefits, costs, and risks, enabling decision-makers to evaluate its viability. For instance, if a company identifies slow customer service, the business case would explore why it's slow and the potential financial and customer satisfaction benefits of improving it. Always remember that the needs assessment sets the foundation, ensuring any subsequent work is strategically aligned and justified. Question 2. A business analyst is preparing to elicit requirements for a new customer relationship management (CRM) system. The project involves multiple departments, and stakeholders have varying levels of technical understanding. Which of the following approaches would best facilitate collaborative elicitation and clarify ambiguities among diverse stakeholders? A. Distributing a detailed questionnaire to all stakeholders for individual responses. B. Conducting one-on-one interviews with each key stakeholder. C. Organizing a facilitated workshop with representatives from all key departments. D. Relying solely on existing system documentation and reports. Answer: C. Organizing a facilitated workshop with representatives from all key departments. A facilitated workshop is an excellent elicitation technique for projects involving diverse stakeholders with varying technical understanding because it promotes collaborative discussion, immediate clarification of ambiguities, and consensus building in a structured environment. Unlike individual interviews or questionnaires, a workshop allows participants to hear different perspectives directly and resolve conflicts in real time. For example, when defining requirements for a new CRM system, a workshop brings together sales, marketing, and IT to collaboratively define what they need, rather than collecting fragmented information. Remember, when collaboration and quick resolution of differing viewpoints are key, workshops are a powerful tool. Question 3. Which document primarily defines what the business wants to achieve, independent of how it will be achieved by a specific solution? A. Functional Requirements Specification. B. Solution Requirements Document. C. Business Requirements Document, BRD. D. System Requirements Specification. Answer: C. Business Requirements Document, BRD. The Business Requirements Document, BRD, is the key artifact that outlines the high-level needs and goals of the business, focusing on what the business wants to achieve rather than how a specific technical solution will accomplish it. It defines the why and what from a business perspective, such as increasing market share or improving operational efficiency. For instance, a BRD might state the need to reduce customer service call times by 20%, leaving the technical implementation details for later. Understanding that the BRD represents the core business problem or opportunity is crucial for ensuring the solution aligns with strategic objectives. Question 4. A project team has delivered a new software module, and the business analyst is responsible for assessing if the solution meets the defined business objectives and stakeholder needs. Which of the following best describes this activity? A. Requirements elicitation. B. Solution evaluation. C. Business analysis planning. D. Needs assessment. Answer: B. Solution evaluation. Solution evaluation is the process of assessing the performance and value of a solution in use to ensure it meets the business needs and stakeholder requirements that were originally defined. This activity typically occurs after a solution has been implemented and involves measuring its actual performance against expected outcomes. For example, after launching a new online payment system, a business analyst would evaluate if it actually reduced transaction errors and improved customer satisfaction as intended. Remember, solution evaluation is about validating that the implemented solution truly delivers the desired value. Question 5. During requirements analysis, a business analyst identifies a conflict between two key stakeholder requirements. One stakeholder insists on a feature for maximum data security, while another prioritizes ease of user access, which might imply less stringent security steps. What should the business analyst do first? A. Document both conflicting requirements and escalate the issue to the project sponsor. B. Eliminate the less critical requirement based on personal judgment. C. Facilitate a discussion between the stakeholders to understand the underlying needs and find a compromise. D. Implement a technical solution that bypasses both requirements. Answer: C. Facilitate a discussion between the stakeholders to understand the underlying needs and find a compromise. When conflicting requirements arise, the business analyst's first responsibility is to facilitate a discussion between the relevant stakeholders to understand the root causes of the conflict and help them find a mutually acceptable compromise or solution. This approach allows for a deeper understanding of the underlying business needs driving each requirement, rather than just the stated preference. For instance, the BA might help them realize that maximum security means strong encryption, while ease of access means single sign-on, which are not mutually exclusive. Your role as a BA is often to bridge gaps and build consensus among differing views. Question 6. What is the primary purpose of a requirements traceability matrix? A. To list all project risks and their mitigation strategies. B. To document the detailed technical design of the solution components. C. To link requirements to other project artifacts, such as test cases, design components, and business objectives. D. To define the project scope and identify out-of-scope items. Answer: C. To link requirements to other project artifacts, such as test cases, design components, and business objectives. A requirements traceability matrix is a crucial tool used to maintain a clear link between requirements and other related project artifacts, such as business goals, design specifications, code modules, and test cases, throughout the project lifecycle. This linkage helps in understanding the impact of changes, ensuring all requirements are tested, and verifying that the final solution meets the original business needs. For example, if a specific functional requirement is changed, the traceability matrix quickly shows which test cases need to be updated and which design elements are affected. Always remember that traceability ensures visibility and accountability for every requirement. Question 7. A business analyst is preparing to gather requirements for a new public-facing website. The project manager emphasizes the need to understand how target users will interact with the site, including their typical tasks and workflows. Which elicitation technique would be most effective for this purpose? A. Document analysis of existing website policies. B. Brainstorming sessions with internal marketing teams. C. User stories and use cases. D. Surveys distributed to a broad customer base. Answer: C. User stories and use cases. User stories and use cases are highly effective elicitation techniques for understanding how target users will interact with a system, as they describe the system's behavior from the perspective of an end user and their specific goals. User stories are short, simple descriptions of a feature told from the perspective of the person desiring the new capability, while use cases detail a sequence of actions that produce a measurable value to an individual actor. For example, a user story might be, as a customer, I want to be able to reset my password so I can regain access to my account. When focusing on user interaction and workflows, these techniques provide valuable insights. Question 8. In an agile environment, how are requirements typically managed and evolved? A. They are fully defined and baselined at the beginning of the project, with strict change control. B. They are captured as user stories in a product backlog, prioritized, and refined throughout iterations. C. They are documented in a comprehensive business requirements document, BRD, and signed off by all stakeholders. D. They are primarily communicated verbally and are not formally documented until project completion. Answer: B. They are captured as user stories in a product backlog, prioritized, and refined throughout iterations. In an agile environment, requirements are typically managed as user stories within a product backlog, which is a dynamic, prioritized list of features, functions, non-functional requirements, and defects that need to be delivered. The product backlog is continuously groomed, meaning requirements are refined, estimated, and reprioritized throughout the project's iterations, allowing for flexibility and adaptation to changing needs. For example, a user story like, as a customer, I want to add items to my shopping cart so I can purchase them later, would be part of this evolving backlog. Remember that Agile embraces change, and the product backlog is its primary tool for managing evolving requirements. Question 9. A business analyst is conducting a root cause analysis to understand why a current business process is inefficient. Which technique would be most appropriate for identifying the underlying causes rather than just the symptoms? A. Brainstorming. B. SWOT analysis. C. 5 whys. D. Benchmarking. Answer: C. 5 whys. The 5 whys technique is a simple yet powerful root cause analysis method used to delve beyond the superficial symptoms of a problem to uncover its underlying causes by repeatedly asking, why? For instance, if a server crashes, asking, why, 5 times might lead from power outage to faulty UPS battery to lack of preventative maintenance. While brainstorming generates ideas, and SWOT analysis evaluates strengths/weaknesses, 5 whys specifically focuses on causal chains. This technique ensures that solutions address the actual problem, not just its visible effects, leading to more sustainable improvements. Question 10. Which type of requirement defines the characteristics of the solution that are not directly related to its specific functionality, such as performance, security, usability, or reliability? A. Functional requirement. B. Transition requirement. C. Business requirement. D. Non-functional requirement. Answer: D. Non-functional requirement. Non-functional requirements, NFRs, specify criteria that can be used to judge the operation of a system, rather than specific behaviors. These requirements, also known as quality attributes or abilities, define characteristics like performance, how fast it must be, security, how protected it must be, usability, how easy it is to use, and reliability, how consistently it performs. For example, a non-functional requirement might state that the website must load within 3 seconds for 95% of users. These requirements are crucial because they ensure the solution meets essential quality standards and user expectations beyond just its core features. Question 11. A business analyst is developing a business case for a new initiative. Which section of the business case typically outlines the expected monetary and non-monetary gains from implementing the solution? A. Problem/opportunity statement. B. Solution scope. C. Financial analysis and benefits. D. Risk assessment. Answer: C. Financial analysis and benefits. The financial analysis and benefits section of a business case is where the business analyst articulates the expected gains, both tangible, monetary, like increased revenue or cost savings, and intangible, non-monetary, like improved customer satisfaction or brand reputation, that are anticipated from implementing the proposed solution. This section is critical for justifying the investment and demonstrating the value proposition to stakeholders and decision-makers. For example, it might project a 15% increase in online sales due to a new e-commerce platform and also note the benefit of enhanced brand loyalty. Remember, this section clearly answers the question, what's in it for us? Question 12. During the business analysis planning and monitoring knowledge area, what is the primary purpose of defining the business analysis approach? A. To gather detailed requirements from stakeholders. B. To determine which business analysis activities will be performed, the techniques that will be used, and the deliverables that will be produced. C. To evaluate the effectiveness of an implemented solution. D. To identify and assess the root causes of a business problem. Answer: B. To determine which business analysis activities will be performed, the techniques that will be used, and the deliverables that will be produced. Defining the business analysis approach is a critical step in the business analysis planning and monitoring knowledge area, as it sets the roadmap for how all business analysis work will be conducted on a specific initiative. This involves selecting appropriate activities, such as workshops or interviews, choosing techniques like process modeling or data modeling, and identifying the specific outputs or deliverables, like a BRD or user stories. For instance, for a small, agile project, the approach might emphasize user stories and continuous stakeholder collaboration, whereas a large, complex project might require more formal documentation. A clear approach ensures consistency, efficiency, and alignment with project goals. Question 13. A business analyst is facilitating a workshop to elicit requirements for a new mobile application. During the session, several participants are quiet and hesitant to share their ideas, despite encouragement. Which technique could the business analyst introduce to encourage broader participation and generate more ideas? A. Brainstorming. B. Mind mapping. C. Round robin. D. Delphi technique. Answer: C. Round robin. The round-robin technique is particularly effective in workshops when the goal is to ensure every participant contributes ideas and to overcome hesitations from quieter individuals. In this method, each person takes a turn offering one idea, without interruption, until all ideas are exhausted or a set time limit is reached. This structured approach prevents a few dominant voices from monopolizing the discussion and encourages comprehensive input from the entire group. For example, when defining features for a new app, a round robin ensures everyone gets to suggest a feature before further discussion. This fosters inclusivity and ensures all perspectives are heard. Question 14. Which of the following best describes the core function of a stakeholder map or matrix? A. To list all technical specifications for the solution. B. To document the project schedule and budget. C. To identify, analyze, and classify stakeholders based on their influence, interest, and impact on the initiative. D. To capture all functional and non-functional requirements. Answer: C. To identify, analyze, and classify stakeholders based on their influence, interest, and impact on the initiative. A stakeholder map or matrix is a vital tool for stakeholder analysis, used to systematically identify all individuals or groups who have an interest in or can be affected by the project, and then to categorize them based on attributes like their power, interest, and impact. This classification helps the business analyst understand who needs to be engaged, when, and how, ensuring effective communication and management of expectations. For instance, a stakeholder map might reveal that senior executives have high power but low interest, while end users have low power but high interest, informing different engagement strategies. Remember, understanding your stakeholders is foundational to effective requirements elicitation and project success. Question 15. The business analyst needs to determine if the proposed solution for a new internal system will integrate smoothly with the existing legacy systems. This is an example of identifying which type of requirement. A. User requirement. B. Functional requirement. C. Interface requirement. D. Business requirement. Answer: C. Interface requirement. Interface requirements define the specific interactions, connections, and communication protocols between a solution component and other components or external systems. When a business analyst needs to ensure a new internal system integrates smoothly with existing legacy systems, they are specifically looking at how these distinct systems will exchange data and signals, making this a classic interface requirement. For example, an interface requirement might specify that the new system must be able to read and write data to a specific legacy database table. Identifying these ensures seamless operation and prevents isolation of new solutions. Question 16. What is the primary purpose of a future state analysis in business analysis? A. To document the current as-is processes. B. To identify opportunities for improvement and define the desired to be state of a process or system. C. To perform a post-implementation review of a solution. D. To gather initial stakeholder requirements for a project. Answer. B. To identify opportunities for improvement and define the desired to be state of a process or system. Future state analysis, often conducted after understanding the current as-is state, focuses on identifying areas for improvement and defining the optimal or desired to be state of processes, systems, or organizations. This activity is crucial for setting clear objectives for change and envisioning how the business will operate more effectively once a solution is implemented. For instance, if an as-is process involves manual data entry, the to-be state might involve automated data capture and system integration. By clearly articulating the desired future, the business analyst helps align the project team and stakeholders toward a common vision. Question 17. A business analyst is tasked with validating a set of elicited requirements. Which of the following is a key characteristic of well-validated requirements? A. They are detailed enough to include specific technical implementation steps. B. They are ambiguous, allowing for flexibility during development. C. They are measurable, traceable, and align with business objectives. D. They are approved by only the project manager. Answer. C. They are measurable, traceable, and align with business objectives. Well-validated requirements are characterized by being measurable, traceable, and aligned with overall business objectives, ensuring they are clear, testable, and contribute to the intended value. Measurable means that criteria exist to determine if the requirement has been met, traceable means it can be linked back to a business need and forward to a solution component, and alignment ensures it supports strategic goals. For instance, a requirement to reduce customer wait time by 25% is measurable and aligns with improving customer service. Always strive for requirements that are not only understood but also verifiable and strategically relevant. Question 18. Before a project formally begins, a business analyst conducts a feasibility study. What is the main objective of this study? A. To create a detailed project plan and schedule. B. To assess the practicality of a proposed solution, considering economic, technical, operational, and legal factors. C. To finalize all functional and non-functional requirements. D. To select the project team and allocate resources. Answer. B. To assess the practicality of a proposed solution, considering economic, technical, operational, and legal factors. The main objective of a feasibility study, typically conducted during the needs assessment phase, is to objectively and rationally assess the practicality and viability of a proposed solution or initiative before significant resources are committed. This involves evaluating various aspects, including economic, cost-benefit, technical, do we have the capability, operational, can we integrate it, and legal/regulatory considerations. For example, a feasibility study for a new product might determine if manufacturing is affordable, if the technology is available, and if it complies with regulations. It helps avoid investing in projects that are unlikely to succeed. Question 19. When defining the scope of business analysis work, what should a business analyst clearly establish with stakeholders? A. The technical architecture of the future solution. B. The budget and timeline for the entire project. C. What is in scope and what is out of scope for the business analysis activities. D. the specific individuals who will perform the coding. Answer: C. What is in scope and what is out of scope for the business analysis activities. When defining the scope of business analysis work, it is crucial for a business analyst to clearly establish with stakeholders what activities are in scope and out of scope for their specific role and the overall business analysis effort. This clarity helps manage expectations, prevents scope creep for the BA, and ensures that everyone understands the boundaries of the analysis. For example, the BA scope might include eliciting functional requirements but exclude developing user training materials. Clearly defining scope at the outset is fundamental for effective planning and execution of business analysis work. Question 20. A business analyst is preparing to elicit requirements for a complex system where many different data points need to be collected, processed, and stored. Which modeling technique would be most beneficial to represent the relationships between different pieces of information? A. Process flow diagrams. B. Organizational charts. C. Data models, e.g., entity relationship diagrams. D. User interface mockups. Answer: C. Data models, e.g., entity relationship diagrams. Data models, such as entity relationship diagrams, ERDs, are highly beneficial for representing the structure, relationships, and attributes of different pieces of information within a complex system. These models help in understanding how data is organized, stored, and related to other data elements, which is critical when dealing with systems that manage extensive data. For example, an ERD for an e-commerce system would show entities like customer, product, and order, and how they relate to each other. Understanding data models ensures that the information architecture supports the business's data needs accurately and efficiently. Question 21. Which document serves as a high-level representation of the project's objectives, identifies key stakeholders, and outlines the scope in its initial stages, often preceding a more detailed business case? A. Requirements Traceability Matrix. B. Project Charter. C. Test Plan. D. Solution Architecture Document. Answer: B. Project Charter. The project charter is a formal document that officially authorizes the existence of a project, provides the project manager with the authority to apply organizational resources to project activities, and outlines the high-level objectives, key stakeholders, and initial scope. It serves as a foundational document, typically created early in the project lifecycle, even before detailed planning begins, and can often precede or be informed by a preliminary business case. For instance, a charter for building a new office would state the goal, e.g., increase capacity by 20%, key stakeholders, e.g., CEO, head of operations, and initial scope, e.g., build new 5-story building. It's the project's birth certificate, authorizing its existence. Question 22. A business analyst has identified several potential risks related to new technology adoption for a proposed solution. What is the most appropriate next step regarding these risks? A. Ignore them, as they are outside the business analyst's scope. B. Document them and develop mitigation strategies. C. Immediately stop the project due to the identified risks. D. Transfer all risks to the project manager without further analysis. Answer: B. Document them and develop mitigation strategies. When a business analyst identifies potential risks, the most appropriate next step is to document them thoroughly and then collaborate with stakeholders to develop effective mitigation strategies. Risks, such as those related to new technology adoption, need to be understood, assessed, and planned for to minimize their potential negative impact on the project and the solution. For example, a risk like new system might not integrate with legacy payroll could lead to a mitigation strategy of develop an integration testing plan early. Proactive risk management is a core responsibility that helps ensure project success. Question 23. What is the primary benefit of using prototypes or mock-ups during requirements elicitation and analysis? A. To finalize the technical specifications of the solution. B. To develop the project schedule and budget estimates. C. To provide stakeholders with a tangible representation of the solution for early feedback and validation. D. To formally sign off on all business requirements before design. Answer: C. To provide stakeholders with a tangible representation of the solution for early feedback and validation. Prototypes and mock-ups are invaluable tools in business analysis because they offer a tangible, visual representation of a proposed solution, allowing stakeholders to interact with and provide early feedback on the user interface, workflow, and functionality. This early validation helps to clarify ambiguities, identify gaps, and ensure that the solution meets user expectations before significant development efforts are invested. For example, presenting a clickable mock-up of a new mobile app allows users to experience the flow and suggest changes to navigation early on. Remember, early visual feedback can save substantial rework down the line. Question 24. A business analyst is conducting a post-implementation review of a recently deployed software system. The goal is to determine if the benefits outlined in the original business case have been realized. Which specific activity is the BA performing? A. Eliciting new requirements for the next phase. B. Creating a detailed training plan for end users. C. Evaluating solution performance and benefits realization. D. Planning the overall business analysis approach. Answer: C. Evaluating solution performance and benefits realization. When conducting a post-implementation review to determine if the benefits outlined in the original business case have been realized, the business analyst is specifically engaging in the activity of evaluating solution performance and benefits realization. This falls under the solution evaluation knowledge area and involves comparing the actual outcomes of the deployed solution against the expected benefits and performance metrics. For example, if the business case projected a 10% reduction in customer service calls, the BA would analyze call data to confirm if this target was met. This step is crucial to ensure that the initial investment provided the expected value. Question 25. Which type of requirement describes the capabilities that the solution must possess to allow users to achieve their goals, typically expressed as actions the system will perform? A. Non-functional requirement. B. Business requirement. C. Functional requirement. D. Transition requirement. Answer: C. Functional requirement. A functional requirement defines a specific behavior or function that a system or component must perform, outlining the capabilities that allow users to achieve their goals. These are often expressed as actions the system will take, such as, the system shall allow users to log in, the system shall generate a monthly report, or, the system shall validate user input. For example, the ability for a customer to add an item to a shopping cart is a functional requirement. Understanding functional requirements is foundational to designing and developing a solution that directly addresses user needs. Question 26. In business analysis planning, when should a business analyst consider the organization's existing governance structure? A. Only during solution evaluation, to assess compliance. B. Throughout the entire business analysis effort, especially when planning activities, managing changes, and seeking approvals. C. Only at the beginning of needs assessment, to identify key decision makers. D. Never, as governance is solely a project management responsibility. Answer: B. Throughout the entire business analysis effort, especially when planning activities, managing changes, and seeking approvals. A business analyst should consider the organization's existing governance structure throughout the entire business analysis effort, not just at a single phase. Governance dictates how decisions are made, how changes are managed, and how information is approved and disseminated, all of which directly impact how the BA performs their work. For instance, when planning elicitation, the BA needs to know who approves stakeholder participation. When managing requirements, they need to know the change control process. Understanding governance ensures that the BA operates effectively within organizational norms and secures necessary approvals, preventing delays and conflicts. Question 27. What is the main purpose of creating a business process model, e.g., using BPMN, in business analysis? A. To document the technical architecture of the database. B. To illustrate the sequence of activities, decisions, and roles involved in delivering an outcome. C. To define the hardware and software specifications. D. To gather initial, high-level business objectives. Answer: B. To illustrate the sequence of activities, decisions, and roles involved in delivering an outcome. The main purpose of creating a business process model, often using notations like Business Process Model and Notation, BPMN, is to visually illustrate the sequence of activities, decision points, and the roles responsible for performing tasks in a business process, leading to a specific outcome. These models help stakeholders understand the current as-is process, identify inefficiencies, and design the improved to-be process. For example, a BPMN diagram could show the steps from a customer placing an order to receiving the product, including who does what at each stage. Process models are vital for visualizing workflows and communicating complex operations clearly. Question 28. A business analyst is leading a requirements elicitation workshop. To keep participants focused and ensure all topics are covered within the allotted time, what is a crucial role the BA should play? A. Act as the sole decision-maker for all requirements. B. Facilitate discussions, manage time, and resolve conflicts. C. Only observe and take notes without intervening. D. Provide all the answers and solutions to stakeholder questions. Answer: B. Facilitate discussions, manage time, and resolve conflicts. During a requirements elicitation workshop, the business analyst plays a crucial role as a facilitator, meaning they guide discussions, manage the allocated time for each agenda item, and mediate any conflicts that arise among participants. This active role ensures the workshop stays on track, productivity is maximized, and all planned topics are adequately covered to elicit comprehensive requirements. For example, if a discussion veers off topic, the BA gently redirects it, or if two stakeholders disagree, the BA helps them find common ground. Effective facilitation is key to successful group elicitation. Question 29. Which of the following is typically outside the direct responsibility of a business analyst during the solution evaluation phase? A. Recommending solutions to defects. B. Measuring solution performance against metrics. C. Installing software updates on production servers. D. Assessing the value delivered by the solution. Answer: C. Installing software updates on production servers. Installing software updates on production servers is a technical deployment and operations task that falls outside the direct responsibility of a business analyst. While a BA might analyze the impact of such updates on requirements or processes, the actual implementation and maintenance of the software infrastructure are typically handled by IT operations or development teams. The BA's role in solution evaluation focuses on analyzing the performance and value of the solution, not its technical deployment or maintenance. Stick to assessing the business impact, not performing the technical fixes yourself. Question 30. A business analyst identifies that a key business requirement can only be partially met due to technical constraints. What should the BA do? A. Ignore the technical constraint and proceed with the full requirement. B. Document the constraint, communicate the limitation to stakeholders, and explore alternative solutions or scope adjustments. C. Eliminate the requirement entirely from the project scope. D. Design a workaround without consulting stakeholders. Answer: B. Document the constraint, communicate the limitation to stakeholders, and explore alternative solutions or scope adjustments. When a business analyst encounters a technical constraint that prevents a key requirement from being fully met, the appropriate action is to document the constraint, clearly communicate this limitation to relevant stakeholders, and then collaboratively explore alternative solutions or adjustments to the project scope. This transparent approach ensures that stakeholders are aware of the challenge and can make informed decisions about how to proceed, whether by prioritizing other features, finding a different technical approach, or adjusting expectations. For example, if a legacy system cannot integrate in real time as desired, the BA would present synchronous versus asynchronous options to stakeholders. Open communication about constraints is vital for realistic project planning. Question 31. What is the primary purpose of a gap analysis in business analysis? A. To identify unused features in an existing system. B. To compare the current state, as is, with the desired future state, to B. To identify differences and areas for improvement. C. To analyze the financial viability of a proposed solution. D. To document the communication plan for stakeholder engagement. Answer: B. To compare the current state, as is, with the desired future state, to B. To identify differences and areas for improvement. The primary purpose of a gap analysis is to compare the current operational state, as is, of an organization, process, or system with its desired future state, to B. To identify the discrepancies or gaps between them. This analysis helps to pinpoint what needs to be changed, improved, or added to achieve the desired future and is crucial for defining solution scope. For instance, if the current customer onboarding process takes 5 days, as is, and the goal is 2 days, to be, the gap analysis would identify the bottlenecks causing the delay. Understanding these gaps is essential for determining project scope and defining requirements that bridge those differences. Question 32. During requirements validation, which of the following characteristics ensures that each requirement is specific and unambiguous? A. Conciseness. B. Testability. C. Completeness. D. Unambiguity. Answer: D. Unambiguity. During requirements validation, the characteristic of unambiguity ensures that each requirement is specific, clearly stated, and open to only one interpretation, thereby preventing misunderstandings during design and development. An unambiguous requirement leaves no room for guesswork and ensures that everyone involved, stakeholders, developers, and testers, has the same understanding of what needs to be built. For instance, stating, "the system must be fast," is ambiguous, while, "the system must process a transaction within 2 seconds," is unambiguous. Always strive for clarity and precision in your requirements to avoid costly misinterpretations. Question 33. A business analyst is planning how requirements will be managed throughout the project lifecycle, including how changes will be requested, analyzed, and approved. Which aspect of business analysis planning does this activity fall under? A. Information management approach. B. Performance improvement approach. C. Requirements management approach. D. Stakeholder engagement approach. Answer: C. Requirements management approach. The requirements management approach defines how requirements will be managed throughout the project lifecycle, encompassing crucial activities such as how requirements will be documented, tracked, prioritized, stored, and, most importantly, how changes to those requirements will be requested, analyzed, and approved. This structured approach ensures consistency and control over the evolving set of requirements. For example, it would define whether changes require a formal change request form or can be handled in a backlog grooming session. A robust requirements management approach is fundamental to maintaining control and transparency over the project's evolving scope. Question 34. What is the main objective of conducting a brainstorming session during requirements elicitation? A. To systematically prioritize all identified requirements. B. To generate a large quantity of diverse ideas or solutions quickly from a group. C. To resolve specific conflicts between two stakeholders. D. To document detailed system interface specifications. Answer: B. To generate a large quantity of diverse ideas or solutions quickly from a group. The main objective of conducting a brainstorming session is to quickly generate a large quantity of diverse ideas, concepts, or solutions from a group of participants in a free-thinking, non-judgmental environment. This technique is highly effective during the initial phases of elicitation when the goal is to cast a wide net and explore all possibilities without immediate evaluation. For example, brainstorming could be used to generate potential features for a new product or identify root causes of a problem. Remember, in brainstorming, quantity over quality is the initial focus, with evaluation coming later. Question 35. After a new software system is implemented, a business analyst conducts an acceptance test to verify that the solution meets the specified requirements and is fit for use by the business. Which term best describes the criteria used in this verification? A. Performance benchmarks. B. Quality metrics. C. Acceptance criteria. D. Technical specifications. Answer: C. Acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria are specific, measurable conditions that a solution must satisfy to be deemed acceptable by key stakeholders and the business. These criteria are defined during requirements analysis and serve as the basis for user acceptance testing, UAT, verifying that the implemented solution truly meets the stated requirements and is fit for its intended purpose. For example, for a login feature, an acceptance criterion might be, the user shall be able to log in successfully within 3 seconds using valid credentials. They provide a clear definition of done from a business perspective, ensuring the solution delivers expected value.